Good morning, students. Once again, welcome back to the physics class. Already we know, now we are discussing our third chapter, magnetism and magnetic effects of electric current. So in this lesson, today we are going to learn about few topics. Before going to start today's class, I would like to revise our previous class. So what was the previous class? I explained basic properties of magnetism. So what is the basic properties of the magnetism? First one, magnetic dipole moment and magnetic field, types of magnets, and I explained other properties also. First one, magnetic dipole moment. What is the magnetic dipole moment? The product of its pole strength and magnetic length is called the magnetic dipole moment. The product of its pole strength and magnetic length is called the magnetic dipole moment. And this magnetic dipole moment we denoted as a P, capital P. So capital P is equal to Qm into 2L. This is the formula of the magnetic dipole moment. And next one is the magnetic field. So the region or space around the magnet is called magnetic field. The region or space around the magnet is called the magnetic field. Okay, so anywhere in that region, at any point in that magnetic field region, we need to find the magnetic field. Means, what is the definition of the magnetic field at any point in the magnetic field region? Magnetic field B bar is equal to F by Qm. F means force by Qm means pole strength. So the magnetic field is defined as force experienced per unit pole strength is called the magnetic field. Correct, no? So the magnetic field we can denote as the capital B. So B is equal to F by Qm, Q suffix. And next one is the types of magnets. So I told you already two types of magnets are there, natural magnets and artificial magnets. Natural magnets having very less strength, less attraction power, and it's not having particular shape and size. Okay, so the example of the natural magnets are iron, and the artificial magnets are the man-made magnets. The strength of the artificial magnets are high, and shapes also, these artificial magnets having particular shape and particular size. Okay, so the example of the artificial magnets are bar magnets and cylindrical magnets. Not only these three, I told you some other properties also. What is that other properties? A freely suspended magnet always will shows the direction north-south direction. Okay, and next point, what I told, other properties of the magnetic field. The magnetic field is more at the ends of the magnet compared to middle of the magnets. So the attraction power of the magnetic field is more at the ends of the magnet compared to middle. Okay, so about this basic properties of magnets, I explained our previous class like this. So we can revise once again. Now we should start our today's class. Today's learning objectives are magnetic flux, uniform and non-uniform magnetic fields, and last one, Coulomb's inverse square law. About these three concepts, now we are going to learn today's class. Now today's first concept is uniform magnetic field. Before going to explain this topic, first of all, you have to remember one statement, that is, magnetic field is in the form of magnetic field lines. Okay, magnetic field is in the form of magnetic field lines. Okay, so now today's concept is uniform magnetic field. Now magnetic field is said to be uniform. Magnetic field is said to be uniform if it has same magnitude and direction at all points in a given region. Okay, so here usually we know what is the magnetic field. Okay, when that magnetic field we should say uniform magnetic field. Usually we know the what is the magnetic field, but in that magnetic field at which condition we should call that is a uniform magnetic field. That condition is magnetic field is said to be uniform if it has same magnitude and direction at all the points in a given region. So in a given region means what? The magnetic field. In a given region, any point, the magnitude and direction both having same. So I would like to give an example for you. Please see the diagram here, the figure. In that figure having six lines. Okay, that six lines is nothing but a magnetic field. I told you already, magnetic field is in the form of magnetic field lines. Okay, so these six lines are the magnetic field lines. Now the magnetic field lines, these six lines are moving same direction or otherwise different direction or same direction. You can observe the arrow mark. All the lines arrow mark is showing same direction, same side, correct? So the direction of the magnetic field lines is same, direction same. Okay, now we have to identify the magnitude. Okay, now in between the lines, how much gap is there? I think it is equal. In between the lines, how much gap is there? Equal, same. First line to second line, gap is same. Second line to third line, gap is same. So in between the lines, the gap is same, and the size of all the lines also same only. Okay, remember, all the lines, all the magnetic field lines direction is same. Okay, magnitude means the size of the line, how much size is there. You can easily identify in that figure. All the lines are same size only, same length only, all are equal, you can observe. Okay, so all the lines are equal, that means magnitude is equal. On direction, all the lines are moving only one direction, only same direction, correct? You can see the arrow mark, you can identify easily. So the magnitude is same. Magnitude means size of the line, and direction also same. Direction also same means all the lines are moving same direction, one direction. Okay, so here magnitude is same, direction also same. In these conditions, now we should call the magnetic field is nothing but a uniform magnetic field. Okay, once again I am telling you, magnetic field is said to be uniform if it has same magnitude and direction at all points in a given region. Okay, this concept exactly I told you where I explained the electrostatics chapter. There, electric field, uniform electric field, non-uniform electric field, I told you there. Exactly same concept only here. Instead of that electric field, we are using here magnetic field. That's it. Okay. Now, the example of the uniform magnetic field is Earth having uniform magnetic field. Earth also having magnetic nature. We know that. Correct. So, Earth having uniform magnetic field. Okay. This is the example of the uniform magnetic field, just you can remember. Next concept is non-uniform magnetic field. This non-uniform magnetic field is exactly quite opposite to the uniform magnetic field. Okay, first of all we should see the definition. Magnetic field is said to be non-uniform if the magnitude or direction or both varies at all points. Varies means different. Varies means what? Different. Either magnitude is different, that one is non-uniform. Either direction of the magnetic field is different, that also we should call non-uniform. Both magnitude and direction both are different, that time also we can say that that magnetic field is nothing but a non-uniform magnetic field. Okay, now please see that figure. In figure A, all the lines he given, how much lines? 5 lines he given. All the lines direction is same. Lines direction is same, but in between the lines gap is not same. In between the second line and third line gap is not same compared to remaining lines. In between the remaining lines gap. Okay, so here magnitude is not equal. Direction is same only, all the lines, but magnitude it's not same. So this is the example of the non-uniform magnetic field. Okay, now at the same time see the figure B. Here also the gap between all the lines, how many lines he given? 4 lines he given. The gap between the 4 lines is same only, is equal only. Okay, but the direction of the lines is different. Okay, so magnitude is same, direction is not same. So this is the example of the non-uniform magnetic field. Next, figure C. In that figure, the gap between all the lines is not same. Gap between all the lines is not same. Gap between the first line to second line is more. Gap between the second line and third line it is less. And gap between the third line and fourth line it is also more. So it's not equal, it's not same. Okay, but here the direction of the magnetic field lines also not same. Magnitude is not same, we know that already I told you. The gap between all the lines is not same. Okay, the direction of all the lines also not same. You can see the third figure, easily you can identify. Okay, direction means you can observe that arrow marks. So magnitude also not same, direction also not same. So both are different at all the points. So in these conditions we should say this magnetic field is the non-uniform magnetic field. First figure, at all the points direction is same but magnitude is not same. Okay, in second figure, at all the points magnitude is same but direction is not same. In third figure, both the magnitude is not same, direction not same at all the points. So this is also we should call non-uniform magnetic field. Okay, and the examples of the non-uniform magnetic field is magnetic field of a bar magnet. You know already, yesterday class you saw maybe the bar magnet. I explained with example by the use of bar magnet only. There you saw magnetic field of a bar magnet is always non-uniform magnetic field. Okay, can remember? The example of the non-uniform magnetic field is the magnetic field of a bar magnet. Okay, so this is the explanation about the non-uniform magnetic field. Magnetic flux, this is the next concept. Now, before going to explain this topic, just I would like to revise electric flux in electrostatics chapter. I told you already, electric flux means what? The number of electric field lines crossing per unit area is called electric flux. Correct. The number of electric field lines crossing per unit area is called electric flux. Same to same, exactly. In the place of electric charge, I am using here magnetic field. Okay, there the number of electric field lines, here the number of magnetic field lines, that is the difference. So please remember, magnetic flux, the number of magnetic field lines crossing per unit area is called magnetic flux. Okay, the magnetic flux will be denoted as the term phi. The term name is the phi, so this is the magnetic flux, no, that's why phi suffix b, phi suffix b. Okay, so that phi suffix b will be denoting as the magnetic flux. Okay, so the mathematically the magnetic flux formula is, the magnetic flux will be right in the form of phi suffix b is equal to b bar dot a bar, b bar dot a bar. Why I wrote b bar dot a bar? Once again, please see the definition. The number of magnetic field lines, magnetic field lines. So magnetic field lines is nothing but a magnetic field, right? So magnetic field line is crossing per unit area. Area means we can denote as the A, and magnetic field means B. So magnetic field lines are crossing per unit area. That means magnetic lines are passing through unit area, correct? So magnetic field lines we can denote as the B, and area we can denote as A. So the product B into A. Okay, so magnetic flux phi suffix B is equal to B bar dot A bar. This is the formula of magnetic flux, and we know already B bar dot A bar means how we can write BA cos theta, correct, based on vector product, dot product, correct, no? So B bar dot A bar is equal to BA cos theta, BA cos theta. Okay ma, now you can remember one point here. When this formula we can use for magnetic flux is in the form of uniform magnetic field only. Okay, whenever you are using this magnetic flux formula, phi suffix b is equal to b bar dot a bar only in uniform magnetic field conditions, not non-uniform magnetic field conditions, because one more formula is there in the condition of non-uniform magnetic fields. Okay, so he mentioned mathematically the magnetic flux through a surface of area A in uniform magnetic field is defined as phi suffix b is equal to b bar dot a bar is equal to ba cos theta. Okay, so this formula will be in only for uniform magnetic field conditions. Remember the definition, the number of magnetic field lines crossing per unit area is called magnetic flux. The term will be indicating the magnetic flux is phi suffix b. Okay, now we should see the special cases. Before we can see the special cases, first of all you can see the diagram in the figure. What is there in the figure? two surfaces are there. Two surfaces, two perpendicular surfaces is placed in opposite, correct? No, face to face. In between the two surfaces, some magnetic field lines are there. Some magnetic field lines are there. Which magnetic field? That one? Uniform. All the magnetic field lines are moving same direction, and gap between the lines also same only. Okay. Now we can see the special cases. When B bar means magnetic field lines, is normal to the surface. When B bar is normal to the surface, that is theta is equal to 0. I hope you understood. Magnetic field is passing right side. Will you see the diagram? He mentioned in the arrow mark. The magnetic field direction is in right side, and the area direction also right side only. Area of the surface. Okay. First of all, see the first diagram. After the first diagram, the term B is there. B. Above the B, one arrow mark is there, and below the B also one arrow mark is there in red color. So that above arrow mark will be indicating as the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, the direction of the magnetic field. And below the term B, that arrow mark will be indicating as the surface area. Suppose that is the book. Okay, I will stand the book like that. Book having how many surfaces? How many surfaces? 6 surfaces, correct? No? So that is one of the surface, correct? So always area vector will be normal to the surface. Okay, so magnetic field direction is right side of the screen, and at the same time the area of that surface also right side. Okay, remember this point also I told you already in electrostatics lesson. Always the area vector will be, surface area direction will be perpendicular to the surface. Okay, so in first case, the magnetic field direction and surface area direction both are moving same direction. Okay, so both are moving same direction means what is the angle? 0, correct? And theta is equal to 0. Theta is equal to 0. Now phi suffix b is equal to ba cos theta. Phi suffix b is equal to ba cos theta. Now in the place of theta I will substitute 0. Cos 0 value 1. So phi suffix b is equal to ba. Cos 0 value 1 means remaining ba is there. Ba into 1, ba only. So phi suffix b is equal to ba. Okay, that is the magnetic flux value. Okay, and next one, when B bar is parallel to the surface, when B bar is parallel to the surface, then B bar is parallel to the surface means what is the angle? 90. B bar is parallel to the surface means the angle is, angle between the both magnetic field and area vector is 90, correct? So the angle between the magnetic field and area is 90 means in the place of theta we can substitute 90. So phi b is equal to b bar dot a bar ba cos theta. In the place of theta I will substitute 90. Cos 90 value how much? 0. So phi b, phi suffix b that is the magnetic flux. What is the value? 0. BA into cos 90. Cos 90 value 0. So 0 into anything 0. So phi B is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the special condition. First condition is when B bar is normal to the surface. Okay, B bar is normal means perpendicular. When B bar is parallel to the surface, that time theta is 90. The magnetic flux is 0. These are the two special cases. Okay, suppose the magnetic field is not uniform. Now we discussed about only for uniform electric field. Now we are going to discuss non-uniform electric. Suppose the magnetic field is not uniform. Not uniform means non-uniform. Over the surface, the formula of the magnetic flux is phi suffix B is equal to integral. I told you already in the first chapter, the symbol name is the integral B bar dot dA bar. Okay, phi suffix B is equal to integral B bar dot dA bar. Magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. Always the magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. The SI unit for magnetic flux is Weber. SI unit of the magnetic flux is what? Weber, which is denoted by the symbol WB. WB. Dimensional formula for magnetic flux is ml square e power minus 2 a power minus 1. This is the dimensional formula of the magnetic flux, and the CGS unit of the magnetic flux is Maxwell. CGS unit of the magnetic flux is Maxwell, and he given the value of Weber. 1 Weber is equal to 10 power 8 Maxwells. That is the value of 1 Weber. Okay, 1 Weber is equal to 10 power 8 Maxwell. Okay, now here he given the definition of magnetic flux density. Will you see that? The magnetic flux density can also be defined as the number of magnetic field lines crossing unit area. The number of magnetic field lines crossing unit area kept normal to the direction of line of force. Direction of line of force. So here what he given? The number of magnetic field lines crossing unit area kept normal to the direction of force. At what direction force, magnetic force is moving, normal to that force, magnetic field lines are crossing to that area. Okay, the unit of the magnetic flux density is Weber meter power minus 2. Weber we should indicate as the WB. Meter means M. So WB meter power minus 2. WB M power minus 2. Okay. So this is the explanation about the magnetic flux. I hope you will confuse about that special cases only. So while watching the video, please observe carefully the special cases. First case, when B bar is normal to the surface. Okay. In that condition, theta is 0. Okay, because surface is normal to the B bar means surface area is parallel to the magnetic field. And second case, when B bar is parallel to the surface, when B bar is parallel to the surface, that time surface area is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So only theta is 90. Okay, yes, you can see clearly the video. You have any doubt means while watching the video, please ask. I will clear. Okay. Next one is Coulomb's inverse square law. Coulomb's inverse square law. Before going to explain the topic, please all of you see the figure what I inserted in right side corner. So before going to explain this figure, I would like to revise once again the electrostatics chapter. Both same types of charges will be repel and opposite type charges will be attract. We know that. We learned there. Both same charges will be repel and opposite charges will be attract. Correct. Now, like that, in this chapter, you know already I told you in the last class, each and every magnet having two poles, south pole and north pole. Correct. So here, same types of poles will be repel. Same types of force will be repel and opposite poles will be attract. Okay. Same type of poles means what? Either north pole and north pole, otherwise south pole and south pole. So south pole and south pole same. So both will be repel. North pole and north pole both will be same. So it also repel. Okay. And north pole and south pole always will be attract, and south pole and north pole also always will be attract. So please see the figure now, right side corner, what I mentioned. So first figure, repulsive force. He in this figure having two magnets, magnet A and magnet B. In between the two south poles, some repulsive force is acting. And second figure also, in between the magnet A and magnet B, in between the two north poles, some repulsion force will be acting. Okay. And the third one, the magnet A and magnet B is placed opposite to the poles. That means south pole and north pole he kept nearer. So both the magnets, both the poles, south pole and north pole is attracting. So in between the south and north poles, some attractive force is acting. Okay. So here always opposite poles will be attract, same poles will be repel. You can remember, opposite poles will be attract and same poles will be repel. Okay, now you can see the statement of Coulomb's inverse square law. Okay, it is similar to the Coulomb's law in electrostatics chapter. So please see the statement. The force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles is directly proportional to product of their pole strength and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Once again, the force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles is directly proportional to the square of the distance between them. Okay, so please see the expression below what he mentioned. F is directly proportional to. So according to the statement, I wrote this formula. The force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles. Force of attraction or repulsion, here I am denoting as a F. Okay, F bar. Force of attraction or repulsion between two magnetic poles is directly proportional to. So directly proportional means our symbol is there, so I mentioned symbol. F bar is directly proportional to the product of their pole strength. Product of their pole strength. So here what I wrote, QMA, QMB. Product of their pole strengths. So we know already each and every pole having their own pole strengths. So QMA is the pole strength of the magnet A, and QMB is the pole strength of the magnet B. Okay, so that QMA is the pole strength of the magnet A of the south pole, and the QMB is the magnetic pole strength of the magnet B of the pole N, north pole. Okay, so product of their pole strength, QMA, QMB, both are in product only, both are in pole strength. So, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Inversely proportional means we know already 1 by r square. Correct? 1 by r square. So, F bar is directly proportional to QMA QMB by R square. This is the expression of the Coulomb's inverse square law. I told you in the electrostatics lesson, F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2. F is inversely proportional to R square. So we are writing combined expression. F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. So same here. F is directly proportional to QMA QMB, and another expression, F is inversely proportional to R square. Inversely proportional means 1 by R square. Correct. So here we are adding both equations and we are writing F is directly proportional to Q1 QMA QMB by R square, and that is the R cap. R cap, you know, that is the unit vector and it will indicate the direction of the force. Correct. So F bar is directly proportional to QMA QMB by R square into R cap. So that R cap is the unit vector, it will denote as the direction of the force. Okay. Now where MA and MB are pole strengths of two poles and R is the distance between the two magnetic poles. Correct, no? So here QMA and QMB, he is not mentioned QMA QMB, only he mentioned MA and MB, but you can mention in your class notebooks QMA and QMB are pole strengths of two poles, and R is what here, denominator R square is there, no? That is what? Distance between the two poles. You can see the diagram of downside, the figure. He given two magnets, magnet A and magnet B. This magnet A having two poles and magnet B also having two poles. Okay, and these two magnets are placed in a opposite, south north. So the distance between the south pole and north pole is R. At the same time, south pole having the pole strength QMA and north pole also having the pole strength QMB. Okay, so the distance between the two poles how much? Smaller. According to this diagram only he wrote that statement and that expression also. Okay, so we know already. I am converting the directly proportionality to in the form of equal. F is directly proportional to QMA QMB by R square into R cap. I don't want that proportionality. I want to convert in equal format. So whenever we are converting directly proportional to equal, we should take one constant. Okay, so here I took constant K. F bar is equal to K into QMA QMB by R square into R cap. I need a magnitude format. So magnitude format means what I will do? I will take both sides mod. Okay. So in magnitude, F bar is equal to K QMA QMB by R square. You can whenever you are preparing the class notebook, that time you can mention that step. Okay. F bar mod is equal to K QMA QMB by R square. In magnitude format, we don't want to write any direction. For that only I skipped the R cap. Okay, normally whenever we are converted that directly proportional to equal format, that time unit vector you mentioned F bar is equal to K QMA QMB by R square into R cap. R cap is there, but whenever you are writing in the magnitude format, you can take mod. At that time no need to write the R cap because R is the unit vector. Okay, in the magnitude format you are writing means no need to write unit vector. So mod F is equal to K QMA QMB by R square, where K is the proportionality constant. Here what is the K? Proportionality constant, whose value depends on the surrounding medium. Whose value depends on the surroundings medium. Surroundings medium means suppose you are placing the two magnets in the air medium, means air is the medium. You are placing the two magnets in the water means their water is the medium, like that. Okay, so the value of the K depends on the medium. In SI unit, the value of K for free space is, free space means empty, there is no air, there is no water, there is no another medium. Free space K value is mu by 4 pi. mu naught by 4 pi. K is equal to mu naught by 4 pi is approximately equal to 10 power minus 7. What is the value? Approximately K value in free space 10 power minus 7 h m power minus 1. This is the proportionality constant K value in free space, okay, where mu naught is the absolute permeability of free space. Remember, mu naught is the absolute permeability. What is the mu naught name? Permeability. I told you already in electrostatics lesson in this. So mu naught is nothing but a permeability of free space. Mu naught, mu suffix 0. Mu means permeability, that naught, that 0 means free space, okay. Permeability of free space. Free space is nothing but a air or vacuum. So this is the explanation about the Coulomb's inverse square law. This is the statement, and downside this is the explanation. I copied from textbook only. So this Coulomb's inverse square law is similar to the Coulomb's law in electrostatics chapter, okay. So please remember carefully, it's an important. I hope you understood today's class, okay. So this is the total and complete explanation about the Coulomb's inverse square law. Now from last 20 minutes onwards, what we discussed, just roughly I will revise now. First one is uniform magnetic field. So what I told about uniform magnetic field, the value of magnitude and direction at all the points is equal or same, means that is the uniform magnetic field, correct. And non-uniform magnetic field, the value of magnitude or direction, or both the magnitude and direction, varies at all the points. So this type of magnetic field means we should call that is the non-uniform magnetic field. And I told you the example of uniform magnetic field is earth. The example of non-uniform magnetic field is bar magnet, correct. Now next one is magnetic flux. The number of magnetic field lines crossing per unit area is called magnetic flux, correct. No, the number of magnetic field lines crossing per unit area is called magnetic flux, and the formula of magnetic flux in uniform magnetic field, phi suffix b is equal to b bar dot a bar is equal to ba cos theta, and the formula of magnetic flux in non-uniform magnetic field is phi suffix b is equal to integral b bar dot ba bar. And last one is Coulomb's inverse square law. Coulomb's inverse square law. What I told, the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of pole strengths of a magnets, and is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two magnets. The product on the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to the product of two pole strengths and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two magnets. So this is the definition of the Coulomb's inverse square law, correct. So F is directly proportional to QMA QMB by R square. This is the expression of the Coulomb's inverse square law. After that we converted that formula is in equal format, and we should take we took that magnitude form, correct. No, so F is equal to K QMA QMB by R square into R cap, I would like to write in magnitude format. So mod f is equal to k qma qb by r square. In this magnitude format, we no need to write the unit vector r cap. Okay, so this four topics, about these four topics I explained today's class. I hope you guys are understood today's class. If you have any doubts, means after watching the video, please ask. Thank you.